Hey guys, welcome to iBuddies. This is a math video, and today we're going to be learning about statistics. Now, as you students in Mr. Harris's class may know, these problems were similar to the ones on cognitive, and I talked to many of you, and you guys need help with this. So this is the problems that I'm going to be working on today. So first of all, this is the first question. So what they're asking for is that they give you the standard deviation, and the standard deviation is 1.3, and then the question asks, every number in the data set is multiplied by 10. Find the variance of the new data set. Okay, so basically this problem is very simple, but it looks pretty complicated. So if they give you that the standard deviation, which is this is the symbol for standard deviation on your calculator. So if the standard deviation is 1.3, we know that when a number in the data set, when every number in the data set is multiplied by 10, we know that the standard deviation is also multiplied by 10. So then the new standard deviation would be 1.3 times 10, so 13. So 13 is the standard deviation of the new data set. New data set. Because if all the numbers are multiplied by 10, then you can think about it as what is standard deviation. So the standard deviation would be like the spread from the mean. So if every number in the data set is multiplied by 10, then the spread from these numbers also shifts by a factor of 10. That's how you guys should think about it. So now that we have the new data set standard deviation, which is 13, the question is asking us to find the variance of the data set. As you guys may recall, as some of you may know, variance is it's another way of measuring the spread of a data, just like the standard deviation or the IQR or the range, except it's the same thing as standard deviation, except you don't square root the number after you add them all up. So if the variance would be equal to the standard deviation squared, or in the other way around, you would be like the square root of the variance equals to the standard deviation. These are formulas that you guys need to be familiar with in order to solve for either one. So now, if we have that the standard deviation of the new data set is 13, and we want to find out the variance, then we would obviously use this formula right here. So it would be 13 squared equals the variance. So 13 squared is 169. So the variance of the new data set is 169. Alright, so this is the second question that you guys might be struggling with, and this is pretty similar to the first one, except that it's the other way around. So it deals with variance, and you just have to work your way around it. So the question gives you that the variance is 144, and then they state this piece of information. Every number in the data set is divided by 3. So find the new variance. So right now we're dealing with division now, and instead of them giving us the standard deviation, they're giving us the variance of the original data set. So if they give you that the variance is 144, and then they ask you to find the variance of the new data set. So the new variance. And basically, from there, what you have to do is that you have to find the standard deviation of this. So, as you may recall from the first question, to find the standard deviation, you just need to square root this. So if you square root this, you get a standard deviation of 12. So 12 would be the standard deviation of the original data set. And then you take this, and this is where you apply the divided by 3, because when you divide every number by 3, then that affects the standard deviation, not the variance. So it does affect the variance, but not in this rule, not in this division by 3 rule. So if you take the standard deviation of 12 and you divide by 3, your new standard deviation will be 4, because you divide by 3. And then from there you can just find your new variance, and you just square this. So the new variance would be 16. Now another way to do this, instead of going from variance to standard deviation all the way back to variance, it's a long process. You can just go from variance to variance automatically. So when they say here that every number is divided by 3, it's basically saying that the standard deviation of the new data set and the original one has a factor of 3. But that doesn't apply, that same thing cannot be applied to the variance. So since you guys know that standard deviation squared, so standard deviation squared equals variance, then if all the numbers in the data set are divided by 3, then you know that to get from variance to variance, you would have to square the 3. So it would be divided by 9. And then if you guys do the math again, so 144, which is the variance of the original data set, if you do 144 and then you divide by 9, you get 16. So either way, either method that you prefer, and it might be a bit harder to wrap your head around this method, but both methods are supposed to get you to the same answer, which is 16. And this concludes our video on statistics, and we're not going to be having a quiz on this, so you guys make sure you remember this type of stuff for our quiz in a month from now. Please let me know what you guys want to see next on chapter 10 that we're going to do right now. And like, subscribe, and peace.